Welcome back to yet another episode on the Artisans SMP. Now, like any good YouTuber, I did do a bunch of off-camera work, and one of those things being this entire farm that you see here. So this is a squid farm, or a squid ink sac farm, but basically it's a very simple farm because I took a design that didn't use any of the clearing out of water or anything like that. As you saw at the beginning of the video, this is quite a simple squid farm because the squid just spawn around that temple down there and then the guardians kill them, and then I have a couple of allays down there that go ahead and collect up all the ink sacs and then just deliver them into this funnel pipe thing that comes all the way up here, and we get a ton of ink sacs. Now, obviously the main point of getting ink sacs is to get black dye, and that's because I need a ton. Like, I'm talking about 10 to maybe even 50 to 100,000 concrete blocks is what I need. Now, I don't think we'll be working on that mega project today, but we'll definitely get started on that resource grind and trying to get a couple more things done. Another thing that I should mention is this farm isn't located anywhere near any of my other farms, and that's because this required a specific biome, the cold ocean, so then there weren't any dolphins that would screw up the spawning or anything like that. So this is in a completely separate nether portal area. Now let's head back to my starter base, because I have done some work around this area to clean it up and make it look a lot nicer. Now, the first thing being I actually put something around where the nether portal is and made it look a little bit more interesting, as well as adding a couple of pathways and just kind of blending the build into the environment. So I will continue to do that in future episodes and just kind of take it as a slow process of finishing this build. But the other major thing that I did was build an interior, or at least half of an interior. So over here we have a decent interior. Now, I'm not too good at these, and this is probably one of the first ones I've ever done, so I just tried to keep it a little bit interesting. So we got like a fireplace here and like a bunch of coal of where like a blacksmith would do his work, and then we have like some tools on the bench here that a blacksmith would work on. And then the other thing is it's actually functional. So up here, if I switch this on, I did a little bit of fancy redstone. Now, as you can see, I was a little bit constrained in designing this interior because right above here is my villager breeder. So that's the dirt where all of the food sits for the villagers to eat. And as you can see, when I turn on the redstone, it actually flips up one of those trap doors. So it's a little minor thing, and honestly, I don't really care, especially since it's so small, and you could even maybe see some villagers up there if there were enough of them. We are just going to leave it at that because this entire system does work, because I had to do some tricky redstone to try and figure out how to fit a redstone lamp up there and get the lamp to turn on while the piston was off and all that. So whenever this light is on, that means that the villagers are breeding. And then I can also push this little button right up here, and that takes villagers and puts them through here. So anytime that I want more villagers, all they'll do is go through this little glass area, and then they'll head down to the rest of the villager area. And I even built a little bit of a feature into this barrel. So normally I would put minecarts in here and those would get delivered up to the villager area, but we'll just demonstrate it with a golden carrot. I hope that doesn't screw anything up. But I basically pop a golden carrot in there and then it sucks it out, and then here's the backdoor entrance to all of the garbage that's behind. And so basically that gets shot up over here into the villager system, and there you can see all the villagers up there, and then basically those minecarts get shot up, and then the villagers get collected by the minecarts, and then they loop down and around down into the main villager area. And as you can see, I've also spruced up the villager area as well. I've actually made it a little bit nicer than it was. Now, I still have to work on the entrance area, so coming around this corner you can see it's definitely not the entrance that I want. So eventually we'll have some stairs going down here and then like a proper entrance to the villager area, but for right now it's just kind of a little bit makeshift, and I just go through these side tunnels here to get to each of the layers. But you guys have all seen this before, it's just now it looks a lot nicer. And now let's head to the industrial area to check out the main thing that I've been working on. And as we enter this area, you can see right away I have a bunch of green shulker boxes sitting around this area. So I am going to show you guys what's in them in just a second, but it appears Isaac has left me a couple of presents or incentives or gifts. I'm not really sure what they are, but he basically gave me a lot of really good stuff, and that is because, if you can read that, he wants me to vote for him in the mayoral race. And as of right now, I don't think there's really any other people running for mayor, so I guess Isaac will probably have this one in the bag. Now, it's kind of crazy because he dropped off 2 of these little gift baskets, so that is absolutely crazy. Like, that is a bunch of netherite, diamonds, emeralds, gold, totems for some reason, and that's a lot of stuff. Okay, moving over here, we have even more stuff. So I have a very massive project planned for today. It's going to take a lot of work, and I did all of the grinding for the materials off camera. So in these shulker boxes is tons and tons and tons of materials for building up this thing. Like, that was a lot of hoppers to craft, and glass, redstone. We have everything in here for building up this project. Now, you can probably guess slightly what it is with all these materials here, but you know what? Let's stop talking about it and just build it. I have just finished constructing this Omega storage system, but Scinovus just messaged me and I have something that I have to go do with him, so let's go check it out. Now, Scinovus is waiting for me back at my base, and it has something to do with a thunder shrine or something, and commands, and it's part of like a mod I think that we have on the server. I don't know what's gonna happen exactly, but I'm definitely excited to see what Scinovus has in store. Now we just have to find him. That looks a little bit suspicious, so I guess we'll head up here. This definitely looks like something that Scinovus may have just put in. Oh, and there he is. And there's Scinovus, and there's some wacky things going on here. So, there's a bubble elevator. I didn't see that. Okay, so there's something here about a thunder entity, or a thunder, I'm not exactly sure, a thunder shrine I think it's called, and apparently he needs me to do some sort of command, so I guess let's do it. I suppose this is the command right here, and let's enter it. Interesting. Nothing happened yet, although I have no idea what's happening here. So Scinovus is the master here, and I have no idea what's going on. It's got some of those enchantment characters there, so I don't know exactly what Scinovus is doing here, but I am interested to see what this is. Oh, something just happened. That is very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so apparently Scinovus has gotten the Thunder Shrine to work, which doesn't make any sense at all to me, but that is, I guess, what happened. So just to be completely clear, I have no idea what's happening here, but apparently I have to trade with this villager here to get some sort of special trade and some sort of achievement. So Scinovus has just gone and gotten me some wheat to trade with this villager, and I guess that's what I'll do. So I guess I take the wheat and trade, and apparently something special is gonna happen. Oh, I guess I got Star Trader. Oh, I am so confused right now. Oh, now I understand. Scinovus was going after a couple of very difficult achievements to get, and he apparently gave me the Star Trader one, and I guess he got this Strike a Villager with Lightning one, which is very interesting. I did not know that you could get those achievements. So that was strange, but back to the build. And here we have it, the completed storage system. So I worked on this a little bit in creative and planned this entire place out, and now that it is in in survival, it's quite cool, and I'm glad that we now have an actual, like, decently sized storage system. And if we fly up here, you can see that all of the materials from the farms are being pumped in. So eventually when we have hopefully like 50, or maybe that's a little bit too extreme, but probably around 20 farms all surrounding this area, they'll all pipe into that main line right there, and they'll all go flowing into the storage system. So there are probably a couple of better designs for storage, but I just went with the classic impulse design and then just running water streams over the top. And I think it's kind of cool because all the materials come in here, and then actually when you're down here on the main floor, if you watch closely, you can actually see some of the items coming in and flowing around on all these little water streams. So I think that's quite cool. But other than that, this is a fairly simple design. I decided to put a little something in the middle here. And another thing that I would like to do is maybe create a second level up above. So in my creative testing world, I did actually put an entire roof on this thing, but I didn't really like how it fit. So now that I'm seeing this here in my world, I think that what I want to do is maybe put like a bubble elevator through the center here, and then put some sort of control center up above, because eventually I'm going to want to be able to have the control to turn farms on and off from this main center section here. And also it would be nice to have a second level, so then every time that I need to check on filters and that sort of thing, I don't have to fly up here. I can just take a quick bubble elevator and there'll be a second level up here, because obviously every time that I need to switch out an item, then I just go in here and take out one of these blocks of iron. So I think it'd be nice to have a second level here, and then we could also connect that level through these like little beams, so it could be like semi-floating, kind of like a pyramid like in my design. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of that. As of right now, basically all the items that we are producing are coming from that mob farm and also from the tree farm that I built right around the corner. Now we are going to have to expand this a little bit, because I want to have like a cobble generator, maybe even a super smelter somewhere around here. And we desperately need a bone meal farm, because I know we get bones from that farm up there, but I don't want to have to go to all the work of crafting bones into bone meal. I just want to have it fed straight back into the system. And if you recall in the last episode, I built up that bone meal farm, but it just doesn't work, so we're gonna have to rip all that out and replace it with a much better one. But sadly, I think we're almost out of time for the video today. And once again, most of that time was spent off camera, because I don't know if you've noticed, but in my inventory down below, you can see 2 of my tools are now diamond and no longer netherite, and also now my pants and boots are no longer netherite. And that's because I went around this entire area and was lighting up caves, and of course, a creeper jumped down on top of me, blew me up, and I couldn't find my stuff in time, so it all despawned, and then I had to go on that grind to get all my stuff back. But it wasn't too big of a deal because of all the gifts that Isaac gave us, so shout out to Isaac. Go subscribe to him, he's amazing. And also, of course, our villager setup allowed me to basically get all of our tools back to what they were before. Another aspect that took quite a while is my resource gathering. So I severely overestimated how many materials I would need, which I knew was going to happen, but I didn't think it would be this bad. I only used like not even a full stack of torches, comparators, and repeaters, but that's fine because now we have a massive backup of that sort of stuff, as well as other materials like redstone and hoppers and all those sorts of materials. So we definitely have a good backup of materials, but I definitely spent probably a little bit too long crafting up all of these redstone components. So taking a quick flyby of this thing, I do think it looks quite cool. I like the colors that I went with, as well as this kind of orange pipes that pipe in. Now I also want to do a little bit more like decoration with this, so I think at every interval where there's this little ice piece and this little slab there, I probably want to put like a little ring around here and maybe even like attach it down into the water so it actually looks like it's supported. But overall, I think this area is coming together quite nicely, and I think it desperately needed a storage system like this, because it was definitely annoying having to go from that farm to look for specific items. And also I had a very crappy item collection system set up there. And actually, speaking of that, I did do a little bit of retrofitting on this farm, and I've switched up the design a little bit, and I may even want to do a little bit more customization to this. But as of right now, when all the drowned come in and I slay them with my sword there, all of the materials then just go flying out of this pipeline and then down into the rest of the storage collection system where all the other mobs drop down into, and then all of that gets piped out. So I know this video might be a little bit short, but I think I'm gonna end it here because I probably should have spent this time working on Mumbo's Season 8 base. And, uh-oh, Phantom's attacking me. And in the next episode, I want to start working on my base plan. So I have a couple of really exciting things planned for that, and it kind of needed for all of this industrialization systems to be set up first, but I think it's gonna be really cool to start on some base designs because we desperately need something more than our starter base. And I think with that, I'm gonna say goodbye and hopefully get away from all of these phantoms. Bye, everyone!